A violent crash in southern Kentucky has claimed the life of a 21-year-old man.
Weeks after flooding rushed over Kentucky 257 in the Confluence area, sites like these are still common. All of the details coming up on how officials are working now to clean up the road.
They're so thankful for the cleanup effort, for the roads being clean, being able to get home.
The spring fill will continue as we head into the middle of the week. The forecast now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
This morning, a violent crash startled a community and claimed the life of a young man. Police say his car went off the road around 3 this morning. A nearby vehicle and home were also damaged. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what took place.
I heard a loud boom, and it was just like thunder, loud thunder.
It was around 3 o'clock Monday morning, and Donnie Massey knew something bad had just happened outside his house on Kentucky 1006 near London.
Well, the car was laying over against the porch in the concrete.
The car was on its top. Police say something caused the driver to lose control and leave the road.
Clipped a utility pole, clipped a guide wire, and then flipped at least one time, striking a Tahoe that was parked in a residential driveway.
Police say the Saturn actually flipped over the Tahoe.
I figure it's total. It's a 04 model, so it's probably total.
The driver, Dylan Ellis, was pronounced dead at the scene.
This was a 21-year-old young man, so it's very tragic, and it's very hard for deputies when we have to investigate something like this.
Police say they're still investigating the cause, and the toxicology tests will be analyzed as well, and that is protocol in all deadly crashes. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
We have learned that Bowling Funeral Home will be handling services for Dylan Ellis. Visitation is after 6 on Wednesday, and the funeral will be at 1 p.m. on Thursday. Tonight, new concerns about a mudslide threatening US 23 in Ivel. Earlier, more mud and rock started sliding off the hill. So far, nothing appears to be too severe. However, highway officials say they are keeping a close eye on it. Currently, the northbound lanes remain closed, but if any rock begins to fall into the southbound lanes, officials may have to close them as well. For now, though, they remain open to one lane of traffic going both directions. As water recedes on Kentucky 257 in the confluence area of Leslie County, many people are now able to leave their homes. Some were trapped for 2 full weeks, but now crews are dealing with what was underneath that water. WYMT's Mason Marie shows us some of the debris left behind and talks to people cleaning up the mess.
These trucks may be noisy, but it's a welcome sound on Kentucky 257.
They're so thankful for the cleanup effort, for the roads being clean, being able to get home.
As water goes down, crews begin clearing what washed up.
In order for us to get out, I had to move some logs out of the way. Those are pretty significant sized logs.
For 2 weeks, Chris Berger found himself trapped in his father-in-law's home above this church.
That's as high as it got before it started going down.
But down the road, the high water still causes issues. Take a look around me. Kentucky 257 still a mess. This area of the road is closed, and crews say they've got a long way to go whenever it comes to cleaning up debris like these tree branches and trash.
It's hard to imagine. This is the worst that I've seen it since I've been involved with in the county, and that's been 46 years.
County officials like John Newell say the hard work is worth it.
Cleanup that they're doing right now with cleaning the mud off the road and brushing it, making it so much easier for folks to get home that can get home.
Knowing the community is thankful for all the effort. In Leslie County, Macy Marie, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials tell us at least 8 families are still trapped by flooding in that area. Well, water levels at Lake Cumberland continue to drop. According to a recent post on Facebook, the water level is at 743 feet. That's down 5 feet since Wednesday. Water is still being released at Wolf Creek Dam.
Well, the good news is in the next couple of days, no water in the forecast, no rain chances, at least until we get into the late hours Wednesday and into your Thursday. Sunshine, the main topic for the next 2 days. Of course, you'll notice clearing skies finally working into the University of Virginia, and satellite radar shows those bands of clouds working to the southeast. Right now, most of us in the mid to upper 50s will drop all the way down into the lower 30s tonight with a cold start and some patchy fog. Steve will break down what you can expect for the rest of the week and, of course, that weekend forecast coming up in a few short moments.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Happening now, officials in Knott County work to address the partial government shutdown in that county. The shutdown started on January 22nd. We've been tracking its impact on the county, and a fiscal court meeting started just a few minutes ago. That's where WYMT's Connor James joins us now with a look at what's on tonight's agenda. Connor?
Steve, as we speak, officials and the public are gathered in that fiscal courtroom. There's a handful of things on tonight's agenda. There are 3-second readings addressing ending that partial government shutdown. This all stems from, as you know, some financial issues here in the county. We'll have a second reading of the 2% occupational tax, a second reading of the 4% insurance license fee, and finally a second reading of the continuity of government. In mid-February, we learned that the road department only had about $40,000 to operate, with more than triple that number in damages to the county. Now at 11, I'll kind of break down everything that happened in this meeting and kind of what officials are hoping the next step is for Knott County. I'm live in downtown Hindman. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Connor, thank you. The murder trial of a man accused of killing former Everett's Mayor Ronnie King continued in Bell County this morning. Starting at 10:30, jurors heard opening statements and then witness testimony from officials including former Kentucky State Police detectives and arson investigators. During that testimony, pictures of the crime scene and diagrams of the home where this all happened were presented. The trial will continue starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning. A grand jury indicted a man in connection with a deadly Floyd County hit and run in May of last year. Police say Kyle Collins hit Larry Hinkle and did nothing to help him. Now 3 others face charges of tampering with evidence. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with Larry Hinkle's son to get their reaction as the case moves forward.
They say it is a step toward justice.
The biggest relief was hearing the reckless homicide charge on Kyle finally.
In July 2017, Kyle Collins allegedly hit and killed Larry Hinkle on Kentucky 979 in the T-Berry community of Floyd County. Larry is Jody Hinkle's father.
The smallest tip is what set it off.
Now, Christy and Bradley Hamilton are charged in connection to the deadly hit and run.
But it holds everybody accountable for what they done.
Exactly.
For thinking you can get away with it and hide evidence.
Officials say Christy and Bradley Hamilton helped Kyle destroy evidence. Now both face charges of tampering with physical evidence.
From a cold case with no evidence, no car, no body, to having 3 people, it's worth all that work and effort.
Jody and Ashley have a message for Kyle, Christy, and Bradley.
It could have been avoided.
You just had to stop and be honest, and the law wouldn't have been broken.
In Floyd County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Kyle Collins could face up to 15 years in jail if convicted. His next court date is May 2nd at 9 a.m. Christy and Bradley Hamilton will be back in court June 6th, also at 9 a.m. State police arrested a man in connection with a Virginia murder. Jeremiah Russell May is in the Pike County Detention Center. Investigators say he killed Matthew Hurley last week. They believe it all started as an argument, resulting in May shooting Hurley and also shooting himself. May faces a murder charge. He'll be extradited back to Virginia. We now know the name of a woman killed in a Jackson County house fire over the weekend. The Jackson County coroner says the victim is 91-year-old Jean Morris. She died when her home caught fire early Saturday morning off US 421 in Sand Gap. People we spoke to tell us Morris was respected and loved by many in the community. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but officials say it does not appear to be suspicious. The FBI says it is investigating a suspicious death of a woman found at Mammoth Cave National Park. Police have yet to identify the woman, but they say she is a white woman in her 20s. The body was found around 10 this morning. The National Park Service and the FBI are both working on that investigation. A little girl from Leslie County who is in the hospital after getting the flu continues to improve. We first told you about 20-month-old Kaylin late last week. Friends of the family tell us she is not awake but making noises and the muscles in her body are relaxing. For now, the plan is to send her to Cincinnati once she gets better. In the meantime, several community members are fundraising for her. The clock is ticking down in Frankfort. Several bills still need approval with just days left in this legislative session. Several bills affecting education are on Kentucky teachers' minds. Many are planning to head to Frankfort in the final days. Hillary Thornton is following their concerns.
Well, with just a few committee meetings going on here in Frankfort today, the state capitol a relatively calm place. However, the rest of this week is expected to be a busy one as the days are numbered for this legislative session. Some of the bills many eyes are on include medical marijuana, sports betting, and a bill that would require the nation's motto, "In God We Trust," to be prominently displayed in schools. That bill passing out of committee among a lot of red shirts in the room as public education advocates make their presence known.
We know that there's only 4 days left, but that doesn't mean that things still can't move, and we're going to be vigilant watching those things. Stephanie
Winkler and the Kentucky Education Association never calling for sick-outs and are among those strongly discouraging that move tomorrow because it is statewide ACT Day for students. She does say many districts are utilizing a delegate system where less than a handful from each school will travel to the Capitol.
And we'll be here the rest of the week, and there'll be plenty of people here in red.
They will be watching several bills, including some that triggered sick-outs in recent weeks, like House Bill 525, which reorganized the nomination and election process for the Teachers Retirement Board, as well as House Bill 205, which would allow tax credits for those who donate towards private school scholarships.
Much engagement that we can have civically as just a people as a whole is always good.
Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
The House will gavel in at noon tomorrow. The Senate will begin at 2 o'clock. A Kentucky mother is not giving up. It's her fourth time in Frankfort pushing for lawmakers to pass a bill known as TJ's bill. That bill would require children to wear a helmet while riding a bike. Today it passed in committee. It now goes to the full Senate for a vote. TJ is about 9 years out from a bicycle accident that changed his life forever. It's an injury the bill's sponsor, Representative Regina Huff, has seen firsthand.
I saw a traumatic brain injury take one of the strongest people I know, mentally, physically, emotionally, and render him helpless.
Representative Huff is backing the bill in memory of her late husband, Dwayne Bunch. Bunch, of course, a former state lawmaker and teacher who died back in 2012, about a year after suffering the injury while breaking up a fight between students at Whitley County High School.
Sunny skies across eastern Kentucky right now, especially in southeastern Kentucky, and the warming temperature is going to be the big story. When will the next rain chance occur? The answer coming up in 5 minutes.
But first, we sat down with a Republican challenging Governor Bevin in the May primary. Hear what he said about the incumbent.
When you see news happening, dial *57 or text your news tip to 5757.